Japan's most important deity had no mother. She was washed into being. There is no womb in this part of the book. No labor, no midwife, no cry. A man climbs out of the land of the dead, walks to the water, and washes his face. And the sun comes out of his left eye. The moon comes out of his right eye. And out of his nose comes the storm. 26 gods come off that one man in that one washing, and the Kojiki counts every one of them. Those 3 are simply the last 3. This is the chapter where Japan's 3 most famous gods arrive at once. And the last of them, the one from the nose, is handed a country of his own, and refuses it, and cries until the mountains go bare. 3 things before we start. None of them give anything away. First, misogi. Last time you learned kegare, a stain you can pick up without doing anything wrong. Misogi is what you do about it. You stand in moving water and let it take what is on you. Not a bath and not a baptism. Nothing here is a sin, so nobody is being forgiven. It is one of the oldest acts in this religion, and it is still done today. I will show you where at the end. Second, names. In this book, a god's name often works less like a name and more like a compressed description of a place, a movement, a job. The god who blocks the road. The god of the fork in the road. So when the gods start arriving tonight, in crowds, I will not read you the Japanese. Where the meaning is clear, I will tell you what each one is for. Third, sides. In old Japan, the left outranks the right. At court, the minister of the left stood above the minister of the right. Remember which side is which. Water that is not a bath, names that are not names, and 2 eyes that are not equal. This retelling is based directly on the Kojiki, Japan's oldest chronicle, compiled in the year 712, with some moments dramatized for a modern audience. I am a Japanese storyteller, and I return to the Japanese sources to bring their words and their world into English. He does not stop to mourn. He comes up out of that pass, says out loud that the country he has been in was foul and hideous, and then he goes to the water, to a place in Tsukushi, the island now called Kyushu, which the book names down to the last detail, a narrow channel and a plain beside it. There is a traditional site for it today, and there he begins to undress. This is the part nobody retells, and it is the best page in the chapter. He throws down his walking staff, and a god stands up out of it, the god who blocks the road. He throws down his sash, and there is a god of the long road. His bag, his robe, his trousers, and out of the trousers comes the god of the place where the road forks. His headdress. Then the bracelet from his left arm, which gives 3 gods of the offshore water. Then the bracelet from his right, which gives 3 more of the near shore. 12 gods, and he has not touched the river yet. Now look at what they are. Roads, crossings, the fork where you have to choose, the line where deep water becomes shallow. This is a man who has just come back from the only crossing that matters, and the clothes he wore down there are coming off him as gods of boundaries. The book does not point that out. The book just puts them there, in that order, and moves on. Then he looks at the water, and he tests it. The upper shallows, he says, are too fast. The lower shallows are too slow. So he wades into the middle of the river, and he goes under. The first things off him are not the sun. The first things off him are the disasters. Two gods come out of the filth of that country. One is named for 80 calamities. And 80, in this book, is the old way of saying more than anyone could count. The other is named for the one great calamity. He carried harm out with him on his skin. Harm is a substance in this book. It is now in the river, and then, immediately, in the same breath, 3 more gods arrive whose entire purpose is to put right what those 2 just brought. The book does not judge the calamity gods. It does not punish them or argue with them. It straightens them. In the space of 2 sentences, you get the whole instinct of this religion. Things go wrong, and then things get straightened, and nobody is on trial. Then he washes at 3 depths, and the sea answers at 3 depths. At the bottom of the water, 2 gods. In the middle of the water, 2 more. At the surface, 2 more. 6 sea gods in matched pairs, layered the way the water is layered. And the Kojiki stops the story to tell you who those gods belong to. One set is the ancestral god of a family of sea people. The other 3 are the gods of an old harbor, worshipped today at one of the great shrines of Osaka, and prayed to for centuries by people who go out on the sea. Then he washes his face. He washes his left eye, and out of the left eye comes Amaterasu, the sun. He washes his right eye, and out of the right eye comes Tsukuyomi, the moon. He washes his nose, and out of it comes Susanoo, later remembered as the god of storms. And the man who lost his wife was chased out of the land of the dead and sealed the road behind him with a boulder, says the first happy sentence he has spoken since she died. I have borne child after child, and at the very end, I have gained 3 noble children. He calls it bearing children. There was no womb anywhere in it. He lifts the string of jewels from his own neck, shakes it until it rings, and gives it to the sun, and with it the high plain of heaven. To the moon he gives the realm of the night, and to the storm he gives the sea. 3 children, 3 realms, and one of them does not go. The sun went up to heaven, the moon took the night, and the storm god stayed exactly where he was and cried. The Kojiki does not measure how long he cried in years. It measures it with his beard. He wept, it says, until his beard was 8 hands long and reached down over his chest. He was given the sea as a child, and he was still crying as a bearded man. And his crying is not a private thing. Green mountains go bare and dry while he weeps. Rivers and seas dry up, and into that dried-out world come the bad gods, and the book tells you the sound they make, like summer flies everywhere at once. Every kind of disaster breaks out together. His father finally asks him, "Why are you not ruling the country I entrusted to you? Why do you howl?" And the answer is one line, and it is the reason this God exists. I wish to go to my mother's land. That is why I am crying. His mother. He has never met her. He did not come out of her. He was born out of the water on his father's face, in the rinse that was taking her country off his father's skin. He is asking to be sent to the one place his father has just sealed with a stone and sworn never to go back to. That connection is my reading, not the book's. The Kojiki puts those two facts next to each other and says nothing about them. And it is careful about the place, so I will be too. It calls it his mother's land, the root land. Whether that is the same country as the one behind the boulder, this book does not say. Later chapters treat it as a country of its own, and you will go down there with a different god before this series is finished. His father does not comfort him. If that is so, he says, then you shall not live in this land. And he drives him out. The verb the book uses is the one reserved for expelling a god. So he's driven out of his father's country, and the first thing he does is climb. He says, "Then I will take my leave of my elder sister and go." And he climbs. And the Kojiki, which has spent this entire chapter measuring things, 12 gods, 14 gods, 8 hands of beard, 3 depths of water, measures him one last time by what he does to the landscape on his way up. Every mountain and every river shook. The whole land quaked. Up in heaven, the goddess who came off her father's left eye hears her little brother coming, and she does not think he has come to say goodbye. She thinks he has come to take my country, and she reaches for her bow. That is where this episode stops, and it is exactly where the first episode of this channel begins. 3 things you only get from inside Japan. 1. The rinsing never stopped. Go to a shrine in Japan today, and before you reach the hall, you will usually pass a stone basin with ladles laid across it. You take water, and you rinse your left hand, then your right hand, then your mouth. That is this chapter, shrunk down to fit 30 seconds and a stone basin. At many shrines, there is a larger communal version of it twice a year, at the end of June and the end of December. And the salt some families use at the door after a funeral is doing the same job. None of it is about being forgiven. All of it is about washing off something you picked up. 2. Now think about the left. In the old court, the minister of the left outranked the minister of the right. The left was the senior side. The Kojiki never tells you why it took the sun out of that particular eye. But to Japanese ears, that was not a neutral side of a face. The most important deity in the country comes out of the senior side of her father's head, and the book lets you notice it without ever saying so. 3. And the middle child gets nothing. Amaterasu gets the rest of the Kojiki. Susanoo gets the next 2 chapters of it, and both of those are already on this channel. Tsukuyomi is handed the whole of the night, and then walks out of the book. That is all. The moon god of Japan is given the night itself and never gets a story. There is a famous tale where the moon kills the goddess of food. It is Japanese myth, but it is not in this book. It is in the other chronicle, the Nihon Shoki, and this series does not mix the two. So I will not hand you a moon story tonight that the Kojiki does not have. What happens when that storm god reaches heaven is already on this channel. His sister shuts herself in a cave and the world goes dark. That is episode 1. What he does afterwards, with a river, a comb, and an 8-headed dragon, that is episode 2. Next time, we come back down to the ground, several generations later, to a beach in the west of Japan, where a white rabbit is lying helpless in the wind, paying for a trick it played on the sharks. And the god who stops to help it is this storm god's own descendant, walking behind his brothers, carrying all of their luggage. If you want these stories the way Japan tells them, subscribe.